All right, welcome everybody. This was my very first time to launch a Zoom meeting. I apologize for the the delay in connecting. Apparently my computer wasn't up to date on the Zoom protocols, whatever. So I uploaded it. Sorry, I apologize. Happy New Year. Excited to have everybody on board in-house. 23 is going to be an awesome year. And I would like for you guys, little caveat, since I've never hosted, bear with me on the hosting duties of making sure that everybody's videos are like you're just seeing me or not. I'm going to fiddle around while we talk. If you have questions, throw them up in the chat room. I'll try to figure out where that is as a host. I know where it is as just a viewer. And then, yeah, so bear with me. All right. Throw your questions into the chat room. I think, oh, look, okay, I'm seeing it. I'm figuring it out here. Okay, couple logistical things to go over just to jump things off. Hopefully this conversation will kind of have a few ideas or questions, kind of kick them up in your brain. And as we go through it, you can throw the questions into the chat box. I think, looking around, you guys have all been with us for some time. If you're new, welcome. If I think 23 is going to be a wonderful year. I really do. I think that we have a little bit more sure footing with most of the things around us right now. And the reason that gives me confidence that 23 is going to be awesome is just because I keep learning and I keep sharing what I learn, not only about like physiology and how to prepare for races, but also just like logistically and how things fit together and the puzzle that makes up the sport of triathlon. I'm figuring out ways to be either more economical with it, more efficient, or just finding pieces that fit better than other pieces in the past. All right, some logistical things to kick off. Camps are still open for this upcoming year. Chula Vista camp is February 6th to February 11th. We definitely still have slots available if you want to jump in on that. Olympic City camp, that is Colorado Springs. That is June 12th to the 17th. I believe those are the dates. Still have room there. Both of these camps will enable you to stay at Olympic Training Center. In the Olympic City, Colorado Springs camp, we will swim at the pool, get to swim where tons of Olympians train. In Chula Vista, we swim in an amazing complex. It's got 250-meter pools. It's outdoor. The track is the selling point in Chula Vista because it's a 10-lane track and it's where a bunch of Olympians train as well, just for a different sport. And both have epic riding, both have a queen stage. One in Olympic City is on Pikes Peak, and the one in Chula Vista is Palomar. Both are top 50 climbs in the US. So yeah, just we'd love to share our experiences. One of the nice things of going to camp is it's really immersive and you meet friends. I know that sounds kind of corny, but who you're doing things with really matters in life. And Daniel and I always like to say that we like to do cool stuff with cool people. So that is why we host camps, because we like hanging out with each other and everybody. So we like to do cool stuff with cool people. All right, next up, team kits. The team kits, we will have kits ready for the February 6th Chula Vista camp, but the team store is not open yet. We're waiting for a few more things. After the team store opens, it'll be 6 weeks from the close of the store till when we should expect our team gear. So We are working on a few other things to solidify the store. And once the store is open, it'll be 6 weeks after till we get our stuff. We want to have the store open and closed in time for our first team race of the year, which is Oceanside. Right now, we have 22 athletes signed up for Oceanside. So we'll be on the tri-tent row. We'll have a tent, hopefully really good support there. Tons of athletes racing. And if we want, we could maybe even, I don't know if it's too late with Ironman, but we might be able to get our own rack. Have all AP racing all on a bike, the same bike rack. That'd be kind of cool. I can look into that to see if we're not too late for that one. All right. Next, team discounts. We are finalizing the partnerships for 20. Oceanside is closed. Okay, Tracy, other than the fundraising, I don't. When they do closed Ironman races, I don't have a way for us to get back in. So that is why, if we know, that's why the scheduling happens in the fall for the next upcoming year. So many people plan out the year and know their races in kind of that October, November range. Ironman was notorious for selling out for a long time. Now the races stay open just a little bit longer, but the more popular races definitely sell out. Oceanside being one of them. So it is good to look ahead to plan out the year. Team discounts, right? We're working, give me 2 more weeks to finalize our team discounts for 2023. There are some partnerships that have expired that we're trying to re-up, and some new ones that we're going to explore. We do have an exciting one coming up. Hopefully we can close the deal, but I don't want to kind of count my chickens before they hatch. But stay tuned for an announcement of a new potential sponsor coming on board for 2023, which I think will help everybody. Because the sport can be expensive sometimes, and if we can help lower those costs, I think that's a big benefit and why we've banded together, working on a sponsor, something that we all use. That's my tease. We call that tease in the radio biz. All right. Team racing calendar is up. If we can make them, and let's I mean, the more races we can race together, it's part of that cool things with cool people process. With the team calendars up, we sent out an email last night that has it. So in that email, I'll just review it real quick. It's got the team racing calendar. It's got a connection for your training peaks if you are connected. I think everybody might be connected already. But if you're not, link up. It's really nice when we do our coaches meetings to be able to pull from different athletes where they're struggling. It helps us kind of with our processes, and it helps you with giving you a better product in the end. And then if you haven't figured out and finalized your schedule, the survey really helps us as a jumping off point. It lets us know kind of where you are, what your goals are for the year, and then we can build the right plan for you. All right, those are the logistics. The big topic of today is setting up 2023 for success. And we're going to go over goal setting and how to properly set up your goals, right? So the big thing with goal setting is you'll have a process-oriented goal and an outcome-oriented goal, and they're not the same thing. Your outcome-oriented goal could be, I want to be top 3 in the world rankings. Okay, well, that's pretty objective. It's settled because we all know how to earn points. And at the end of the year, if you have the top 3 points in the world, then you're top 3. And you can't convince yourself of something other than the objective fact that it is with an objective goal. I actually love objective goals. They are concrete and they show me where I stand without me trying to fool myself into thinking I achieved something that I didn't. The process-oriented goal, I actually use on a daily basis. The outcome-oriented goal will be fewer and farther between, and there'll be certain moments that the outcome will be determined with my performance. The process-oriented goal, or something that I do on a daily basis, on a workout by workout basis, because I'll have goals like, so for swimming, I'll have goals of, my goal is to establish a stroke rate of 1.55 or better. And I'll work on that with a tool. It's called a tempo trainer. I'll stick it in my cap. It's made by Finis. It's like a little yellow thing. It's about yay big. And well, it looks bigger when I put my hand closer. So it's about yay big, like you can see for frame of reference. And it sticks, like I kind of stick it right behind my ear in my cap. And I set it up for 1.55. And I try to have, the way you measure stroke rate is like hand entry to hand entry. Okay. So if I'm swimming along, my hand's one, and it's right hand to right hand. So I try to make it so it's a cadence monitor for swimming. And I know that 1.55 for me and my stroke, if I can get my stroke rate that fast, it means I'm traveling really fast in the open water. So that's a goal of mine for 2023, is to establish a 1.55 stroke rate at race pace. Sometimes I get bogged down and I have this really long stroke. I do have long arms, but they should be around. I should be able to get them around quicker. And when they slow down, I literally slow down because I'm pulling at the same force, just at a slower rate. So my force application is, once it gets to peak force, then it's all, my speed is determined mostly by my stroke rate. So my process-oriented goal is 1.55 stroke rate, starting to embed that into my like the neurological pathways in my body. And then I know I'm swimming at front pack speed, or maybe even leading the front swim of the race. And that is a really good, I know that because of experience, but I also know it because of trial and error. So that's a process-oriented goal for me. When I set my goals up, what I do is, so now we know process-oriented versus outcome-oriented, right? So what I do is I will break down the sport into 5 different segments. Okay, I'll do about 5, and my recommendation is anywhere between 2 and 5 per category. So I'm an overachiever, so I do 5. So I do 5 goals for swimming, 5 for biking, 5 for running, 5 for triathlon as a whole, and 5 for my life, like kind of social, family, friends, that kind of stuff, and kind of personal development. When I set within those categories, I try to have only 1 or 2 be outcome oriented. And I try to have 3 to 4 be process oriented. And I think it really helps me hone down on a daily basis of what the goal is for the day. So whether that's cadence oriented or stroke rate oriented with swimming, biking, and running, they all involve a cadence of sorts. It could be a technique, trying to keep my heel down through the power phase or the lift phase of a stroke on the bike is a key technique to drive power. So keeping my heel level and the bottom of my foot level to the ground throughout the entire pedal stroke is a technique that I know drives steady, consistent power, which helps me go fast. So that's sometimes I use that as like a process-oriented and a detail-oriented goal. Other things are like spend 20 minutes per ride in aero. Like I'll set a metric within a workout on a daily basis to make sure that Because oftentimes I'll go out and ride my bike and we'll be climbing a lot of the day and I won't be in aero. But then when I race, I'm spending almost the entire time in aero. And if I don't get my body oriented to that, and if I don't stay consistent with the focus, then I start to lose track of like what I want to do with like how my position is in racing, and how do I reach my outcome oriented goals if I'm not doing the small detail oriented things along the way, whether that through a process. I really would push and challenge you guys to have a process oriented goal dictate a lot of your goals. It helps keep you focused, and it helps keep it helps keep the day successful. And it's like you come out of the workout and you're like, yeah, I got my 20 minutes in aero. Like I know my power wasn't great, but I did check this box legitimately and honestly. And then so those are kind of my like how I will categorize and fragment and segment each workout. Oh, sorry. So now the next little bit is like, what should some of those focuses be? And I have a little list here. So I've got technique. You could do pacing. Like I want to make sure I'm hitting my paces. I need to hit this pace at this amount of time, right? Single effort goals. Those are always fun. Like you have a hill you know you like to climb. Let's see if you can't do it either X amount of time or in a certain time or under a certain time. Like, oh, I want to get my 500 freestyle down to 8.5 minutes. All right, we can set that up, right? So, and then you can communicate with coach, right? Hey, I want to see if I can go break 8.5 minutes for my 500 free. Can you help me achieve one of my goals? And then you've got like on the bike, you can do like, I want to ride so many miles this year, or I want to reach 350 watts for a minute. You can have either it be volume oriented or peak power oriented. Those are always fun goals for me to set. Like sometimes I'll be like, okay, I want to see if I can get my peak power for 1 minute to be 500 watts. I want to see if I can push. I want to see if I can climb this hill 25 times in one workout or 700 times in the year, right? Those are always like, you can track your progress towards it, and then you can have like an ultimate day where you achieve it, or you can have it be like, and you want to make it lofty but attainable, right? So my dad, when I was setting goals as a kid, he would use this term like you don't want to push your reach to extend just beyond your grasp. Sometimes for some goals, you want to be able to grasp them. So your reach should your grasp should be within reach. And then some goals, you want to make it so the grasp is just beyond your reach. And you're going to have to balance which goals are which for you. What was another one here? The last part of these goal setting is I actually print out my goals, and I'll like put them on a sheet and I put them in my closet. I use like a little tacky pen and I put it in my closet, and I see them every day. I don't necessarily read them every day, but I will reference them. I'm like, oh, I know them all and I see it. It's like, oh yes, make sure. Or it's, hey, let me give a quick review. What was it? So I'll pull out, I have it right here, pull out like a sample goal sheet, how I kind of fragmented it out. Okay. Let's see how this goes. Okay. So swim, bike, run, triathlon. What do I call it? Oh, I have a swim, bike, run, strength, racing. I did not do family goals in this one. This is from 2017. Shame on me for not developing my family goals. But this is how I parcel them out, and I'll just bolt them out. It looks like I've got 6 for my bike, 4 for my run, 3 for my strength, 5 for my racing. Little things like for my racing, try to win 5 races. Take advantage of transitions. It's the small things that make a big difference. Review my gear and equipment before every race to make sure I'm making the right choices for the right course. Shorter rims, disc wheel, tires, am I in the right helmet, that kind of stuff. That changes by the course. And I was doing a bad job of that in 2006. I was just like, I just win anyway. Who cares what gear I ride? I've got, this is a fun one. I was telling myself, my mind and myself, commit when things get toughest. No gifts. The tougher you are, the earlier you commit. Meaning, to me, that means if I'm going to pride myself on my toughness, and I'm in a tight battle on the run, I won't leave it till the finishing shoot. I'll decide to run 2 and 3 miles out because I'll just go to max speed 2 miles away from the finish because I prided myself on toughness and I would commit to the final stretch earlier. And then lastly was race towards my strengths. I needed to take advantage of what I'm really good at to excel on race day. It wasn't just kind of waiting and just being like, well, the swim doesn't matter anymore. I'm just going to kind of hang on some feet. It was a mental cue for me to take the race by the horns and just drive it. So those are my race goals. Let's go over my bike goals really quickly so you have an example. I have a cadence minimum of 95. I don't know if I met that one. That's high. I race at 80. So if I'm training at 95, I must have been pretty good on the bike that year. All right. Work on spin ups of getting my cadence above 120 4 times a week. So I would do these drills where I would drive my cadence up to over 120, where I'm still maintaining contact with the pedal. And I would do it drills, like sets of like 15 seconds. Maybe 4 times 15 seconds on, 45 seconds off, 4 times a week. And I was doing that year. And this is a mental cue for me. Ride through all the uncomfortable moments, duration and intensity wise, telling myself things can get uncomfortable, but there's light at the end of the tunnel. You got to ride through them. I spoke about aero work. This was a goal of mine right here. Aero work. 45 minutes a day. I had to be in aero, 45 minutes of workout. That's a lot. Ride should be really uncomfortable 3 to 4 times a week, where I start audibly grunting. That was a goal of mine, to audibly grunt in pain for 3 to 4 times a week on the bike. Oh, good times. All right. And then lastly, my 6th, this was like a mental cue as well. I want to ride with more hips and core, not just my legs. Make sure I'm engaging my glutes. So those are just some examples. I have, So I would challenge you guys to parcel out your goals, write them down. It helps. If they're in your head, it's kind of nebulous. Okay. I think we're going to run out of time. Oh no. All right. All right. Now that you have your goals, you got to give yourself a chance on race day. I'm going to hit these pretty quick. You got to look at the details and mine them for improvement. You got to mine the details. A piece of gear, a tool to help you drill, like the tempo trainer I had spoken about, or any upgrades you may be looking at. Some of those small details, like, am I choosing the right tire? I'm going to spend $90 on a tire. Might as well choose the right one. So you need to do a little research. Let's look at your sleep habits. Are you sleeping the right way to maximize your performance? Is it a cool environment? Is it a nice bed? Is it dark? Are you canceling out any noise? And are you putting away any electronics at least an hour before? So look at your sleep habits to see if you can get better at it. Okay. Lastly, nutrition. Are you fueling yourself the right way in and out of training? Like in training, it's important to fuel right, but outside of training, are you doing the right things? Sometimes blood work can help look at what you're doing. We do have a deal with Inside Tracker if you want to look at your blood work. Sometimes it can give you a good map of where you are in, like what we say at camps a lot is, what's the most important thing on a map? It's where you are. That way you can orient yourself the right way. So today, 2023, January 2nd, is a great time to move. Keep moving forward, keep things light and fresh, and 2023 is going to be a great year. I'm going to look into the chat to make sure I'm answering questions because this isn't Ask Me Anything. All right. Okay. All right. So is January still in it? Look at that. I even found the chat, kept it up. Like, oh. Okay. So is January a choose your own adventure month or some specifics? I actually like January keeping things really light and really fresh. I try not to put too many constraints on my training. And I try to explore a few new adventures. Like right now, outside it is snowing and gloomy, so I'm riding inside. To keep things light and fresh, I choose something different on Zwift, and then I actually don't push heavy watts. I ride for comfort, and I'll choose some sort of entertainment, whether that's Zwift, a movie, or a book or a magazine. I can read on the bike, so that's, if you guys haven't tried reading on a bike, I would highly recommend it. You get to a certain threshold of like how much can you output and still focus on the words, and then as you get in better shape, that number, the watts you're able to push, gets a little higher. It's fun to kind of track it. You know that you're going blurry and like sweat's coming down and you can't keep your head still. That's kind of like, I stay below that level, not in January, just to really work on my base. Occasionally I'll put the reading away and push, but I do like keeping things light and fresh. All right. Oh, Tracy says training camps are cool. I agree. They are. We really do have a fun time at training camps. We change them up. The location can be the same, but the workouts and the people always change. And there's always something that I'm getting better at that I try to share with you guys. Okay, Chula Vista, bike rentals. Yes, we will have bike rentals available. This year, we were working on Diamond to have Diamond come out. Diamond is my bike sponsor and team sponsor as well, but they are not going to come out to Chula Vista this year. So we're going to set up bike rentals with a shop, and we'll do everything out of the shop. We've used the shop in the past, so it should be pretty straightforward. So Sarah, we will get that. We'll get that information out this week so you can rent the right bike. All right. Tracy, Oceanside, yeah, is closed, sold out. Yeah, the only way to get into the race is the fundraising option, unfortunately. Do you guys have any other quick hitters? We have about 5 minutes left. Anything you guys want to kind of touch on? I kind of breezed through the last thing. If you want to hear, I'll start talking unless I got any questions, if anyone wants to pipe in. Oh, sure. Oceanside bike course. Thank you, Tina. I'll walk through Oceanside bike course. I've done it a few times. Basically, you have this marine layer that makes Oceanside. It's April 1st or April 2nd or April 3rd this year. And the marine layer in the early springtime can be kind of chilly. So I actually think about, it's those details, right? Sometimes I'll wear sleeves or a vest or a full-on jacket on the bike, and definitely gloves if it's cold. So you would want to bring a pair of gloves, arm warmers, vest, and a jacket to give yourself options on race morning, because you just never know. The bike course kind of goes out and up at about 1 to 2% gradient for, it feels like 20, 25 miles. And then when you get into Camp Pendleton, Camp Pendleton is kind of awesome. You'll hear explosions. They're not shooting at you. You're just riding past firing ranges. And it's a unique opportunity because they don't usually open up Camp Pendleton for bike riders. A couple rumble strips you got to make your way through, but Marines usually will man the aid station, which is totally fun because they are motivated, hell yeah, motivated. And they keep it super fun. So the bike course has 2 major hills, and you'll want some gearing. I would recommend higher than a 25 in the back. A 28 is usually good. So a 25 is the minimum. You don't want a 21 or a 19 in the back. The hills are the 2 big hills, 2 big climbs in the backside of Pendleton are substantial. And the last thing on the bike course is you get out of the camp at mile 45, 46. So you still have 10 more miles of riding. Everybody thinks once they jump out of the camp and go onto the road that they're smelling the finish line, but there's still 10 solid miles riding. That's easily a half an hour. So that last fueling point as you come out of Camp Pendleton is super important because it gets you ready for the run. And if you're really steady, you can actually make up a ton of ground as you exit the camp. But it's not super technical. All right, we got about 2.5 minutes. All right, working on, weekly journal of your workouts. I used to actually physically handwrite my journal and my workouts. I found it really valuable. And when it's the most valuable is actually usually 1 to 2 weeks out from race week. I'll go back to help build my confidence in what I've been able to achieve that year. And I go back right before a race to really say, hey, listen, I've done a lot of work and it's been quality. I'm ready. I just need to listen to my body and listen to my coach and prepare myself for success. Those small details that a journal can provide to you in the times when you're kind of down are super important. So Con, that's a great point. The things I like to track are like kind of volume, intensity, like how much time at a certain intensity, how I felt in the morning, like kind of 1 to 10 rating, like subjective feedback. And then you can use some objective tools. Like if you wear a watch that will give you like your resting heart rate, or like HVR, like your heart rate variability. Sometimes that metric is super helpful to track. So all of our swims, Greg, at camp are going to be in a pool, but if you want to bring a wetsuit, you can. We are actually going to have some Hoob wetsuits at camp, so you won't need to bring it if you wanted to try a Hoob wetsuit. All right, less than a minute to go. Any issue bringing a rental care? Oh, you can rent a car to camp. You won't need one. So if you just want to transport from airport to camp, we'll take care of transportation within camp all week long. But if you want to jet out and do your own thing midweek to go to Walgreens or something, we can make occasional stops for you. You won't need a rental car, but if you want one, you can rent one. Okay, and we're going to try to coordinate shuttling back and forth. So maybe we can help each other out with like making it so everybody doesn't have to pay full freight to transport to camp. That's what I got, everybody. Less than a minute to go. Have a great year. Thanks for joining this morning. We're going to post this